Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories. For this, my review of the London Eurovision Party, which happened last night. In this video, I will give you my first impression and opinion on all 23 performances. I will not be talking about the songs too much because I already did my top 37 video and the rating videos as well. So if you're interested in that, check those out. And also for some of them, I'll be quite quick because they're quite similar every time they perform the song. And if you're interested in a longer reaction, check out my video on Eurovision in concert from about a week ago. However, before talking about the 23 performances, there's one notable absence, and that is our entry Baller. Unfortunately, Tuna is still sick. Still has an infected throat, and so they canceled their appearance. Very sad about that for them because they missed out on this great opportunity, but also for us because it could have been a good way to show us that they are able to perform this live. So I hope she gets better soon. All the best to her, and I hope, yeah, I'm not sure whether they are going to perform in Madrid, but that would be nice to see that, to have a live performance of the song. Now let's talk about the entries that did perform. We had Gojo with Milkshake Man for and from Australia. The audience was very much into this. I think this is the kind of entry that a British audience can go for quite easily as well. I think the vocals sounded better than at Eurovision in concert, so he improved on that a bit. There was a bit of a problem with the lyrics at one point. He forgot the lyrics maybe, or just said a wrong word, but nothing major. And it still doesn't quite work for me. The performance, the energy was there. He seemed to have a lot of fun on stage, but it all feels a bit not quite there yet, which is fine because we're not at Eurovision yet. But some of the movements seemed a bit pre-choreographed, a bit too much to make it seem as spontaneous as a song like this should be. Then, Clayman, how much time do we have left? Not all too much to say about this. I think some of the vocals later on were much stronger and more powerful than in the national final. I don't know whether he changed the way he performs this. There were a few more sustained notes as well. Might have to do with all the people talking at the beginning of the song, which I really find very, very disrespectful. If you have to talk and don't want to listen to the song, just go somewhere else to talk, or at least whisper. Maybe that's why he increased the power of his vocals to make people listen to him. At the end, they did, it seemed like, but I don't understand the lack of respect there. Then we have Gabri Ponte, Tutta l'Italia, the staging from hell for one of my favorite songs. Same thing again. The masked singers next to him kind of trying to get the audience involved, and they did, and they liked the entry. So not too much to say. They sang it quite well. They are very static and can concentrate on the vocals. But still, I would change the staging completely. But I've said that 100 times already. Then Nina Žižić with Dobro došli in a very classy black outfit. Very good. Very natural, the way she performs this, quite dramatic, but there were also a few smiles and a bit of interaction with the audience, so it really seemed like she loved being there, which is so fun to see. It's not a fun entry, of course, it's a very deep and dark entry, but she performed this really, really well. The vocals were perfect again. And again, she's kind of this diva, but she's very approachable at the same time, and I really like that as compared to some other entries this year. Then Marko Božňák for Croatia, Poison Cake. Again, like in Eurovision in concert, I think this is a much better performance than in the national final because it was simple. It was just him on that stage with a few graphics, white t-shirt and red pants. It kind of worked a lot better. I felt like the vocals were almost perfect, so he has really improved on that. I love the attitude as well. He's really in the song. And yeah, if he can do something similar on the Eurovision stage and not over choreograph it as it was in the national final, this might do a bit better than I predicted. Then Sissel and Hallucination, great vocals once again. That's the main selling point of the song. She is a great person, I think, as well. I'm going to talk about what happened during the Maltese performance, and she had something to do with that. However, the outfit from the national final, you can see in the graphic on your screen, was back, and I'm not a big fan of that. I think something more natural would be better, but otherwise, good performance and great vocals. Then Laura Thorne, La Poupée monte le sang. Again, I like this a lot more, a bit like with Croatia, because she seemed much more natural, much more relaxed than during the national final performance. The vocals were quite good. The more natural look is great, and I hope they go for something more natural than in the national final. For Eurovision. Then Emmy and Like a Party, she has switched out the female backing dancers, I seem to remember, from the national final with male backing dancers without a shirt on. So apparently she knows her audience. The graphics are still there with the floating dog in the background that I'm not a big fan of. The vocals were fine, were good, and she performed this in a very sweet way. So well done for that. Then Katharsis and Tavo Akis. I mean, they are a well-oiled machine, kind of. They perform this really well every single time. And these concert settings are really their cup of tea, it feels like. I mean, they're used to this. They're a rock band, and they, I think, can deal with a concert setting even more than with the studio performance setting. So well performed. I felt like he was a bit less eerie than he is during the national final performance, but still a great, great entry and a good performance. Then Red Sebastian, Strobe Lights. This time I felt like the lower register notes were a teeny tiny bit shaky. However, the higher register, the screams almost, were perfect once again, and that will be very impressive to a lot of people. Otherwise, basically the same performance, same outfit, same hair color. So yeah, he really deserves the name Red Sebastian. Then Škodra Elektronika with Germ. She had on a very interesting outfit, lots of, I think, traditional elements. It was black and red, obviously, the Albanian colors. It had sort of wings in the back as well with a traditional, I guess, pattern. I wouldn't hate if this was actually the Eurovision outfit. It kind of looked like an outfit made for Eurovision. He was in dad clothes, kind of, a shirt and pants, nothing too spectacular, but he was at the DJ pult for most of the performance. And his part that was very shaky during the national final was again very confident, and he seemed really cool. So they have really improved on that. She does a great choreography. She sings it well. She sells this 100%. So a great performance by Albania. Vibe. I always want to pronounce it Vibe, but it's Vibe with Roa. Basically, again, the same. I think the vocals were a bit better, full of fun and energy, great performance. They always have these outfits on, and I really ask myself whether they are washable or whether they are starting to, well, anyway. So a great, fun, energetic performance, and this is really growing on me every time I see it. Then Erika Wigman for Finland. Some of the sustained notes were a bit shaky in some parts. Maybe there were some audio issues. I don't know. The outfit was a bit even though it had a London reference, which was fun. And otherwise, we already know this amazing energy. She sells the song. She loves performing the song, and you really notice that. And I think the audience also loves her. So that's a good combination there. So well done for Finland. They do have to work on the vocals a bit more if they want to get enough jury votes to do well. Then Latvia, this was the first performance at a pre-party of this song that we've seen. And I was quite interested how this would come across without the very magical and interesting staging that for me sells the song 100%. But I noticed that even without like these curtains that they have in the national final performance, just them singing it and the choreo with them coming together and then spreading out again on the stage as the song progresses, that already sells the song and makes it feel quite magical. The harmonies were very, very good, not always 100%, but that's to be expected in a setting like this. And it's so incredibly hard to do these, to get these harmonies 100% right. In the studio setting, they got it every single time. And I also noticed almost for the first time that the Burman part, where they're like spread out on the stage and the background, the color scheme is a bit more cold, like blue. It's really powerful, this part. And then when they come together and sing the harmonies together, like the chorus, and the color scheme also changes, it feels more magical. And I think it's also this contrast that makes this song and performance so interesting. So well done to them as well. Then Adonis for Tekia with Kiss Kiss Goodbye. I kind of criticized the fashion choice in Eurovision in concert, but here I really liked it. And I wouldn't hate it if this was the outfit for Eurovision, like a glittery outfit, I think denim. And then there was also a bit of a dress reveal, sort of, where the backing dancers took off part of the top and then he had a flowy blouse under it. And I really liked the contrast there. And it looked very elegant, which the Eurovision concert outfit didn't quite. And I also love that every time he performs this, the backings are on color coordination with what he is wearing. So there's lots of thought that goes into this. And you notice that he's quite creative in that department as well. Then the vocals were absolutely perfect. I didn't hear a single note that was off in the low register, in the very high register after the dance break. Just absolute perfection. And I think that the juries will absolutely love this 100%. And I also think that the choreo works. I said that at the Eurovision in concert performance. And it kind of integrates the dance break into the performance, and it worked here as well. And so now I'm quite confident that the dance break will work and will not seem disjointed in Eurovision either. So very well done, very impressed by this performance. Then we have JJ Wasted Love for Austria, one of the big favorites. And he had some issues with the lower register in Amsterdam. However, there were also some audio issues, visibly some audio issues, and I was quite interested to see how he would perform it here. And it is perfect. Both the lower register and the higher register were absolutely on point. He has amazing vocal control. So the difficulties in the lower register were probably due to audio difficulties in Amsterdam. So no problem there at all. The only issue with this performance are the last 30 seconds when he doesn't really sing anymore and he's bouncing around on stage, jumping around on stage. That has to be staged better. I mean, for a pre-party performance, that's completely fine. You don't have to have a perfect choreography. But for the Eurovision staging, they have to come up with something to really not have the whole thing fall apart, because it kind of does if he's just jumping around. And it also doesn't fit the lyrics of the song at all and the general vibe of the song. So yeah, I hope they come up with something. They nail the last 30 seconds of the staging, because otherwise I think this might be in a bit of trouble. Then Justyna Gaja for Poland. This is a well-oiled machine, 100%. I feel like every step of the choreography is exactly the same every single time I see this. The vocals are completely perfect every single time I see it as well. Lots of fitness that goes into this, which is incredibly impressive. I still have issues with the outfits, but I'm guessing that the outfits will stay for Eurovision because they haven't changed a thing for the pre-parties and from the national final either. But very impressive vocal performance and just perfection in when it comes to performance. Then Melody and Essa Diva, again, very good vocals. I'm kind of repeating myself, but we really don't have anyone this year who cannot sing their song well, at least in the pre-parties and the songs that are actually performed. Again, we had a dress reveal, completely different dress reveal, however. She had a red leather coat on, and they took it off, and she had this sparkly red bodysuit on, very cool and classy, very Eurovision in the early 2000s, but that needs to be part of Eurovision. Again, as I said, the great vocals in all registers, the deeper parts, the higher parts, very, very good. And I don't know whether I just noticed this here, but she has some female backing dancers joining her when she sings about what being a diva really is, and then male backing singers coming in other parts of the song. And I like that dynamic as well in the song. So great performance, well done, Melody. Then another great vocal performance, Prince Mila for Serbia. For the first time, I liked the outfit as well, because it was a simple kind of white 80s suit combo. It kind of reminded me a bit of Johnny Logan performing Hold Me Now at Eurovision. And he performs almost as well as Johnny Logan, full of emotion, perfect vocally. Every single time he gives it 100%. You really notice that every time he performs it. And I still think that this will do much, much better than people are expecting. Then kind of the home entry for the London Eurovision Party. Remember Monday, what the hell just happened for the United Kingdom? What can I say about this that I haven't said already? They had outfits on with the Union Jack, which was very fun. I kind of expected there would be some kind of a buzz. Bucks Fizz was the name, a dress reveal during the performance. That didn't happen, but still, it was incredibly fun. They interact with each other in a way that is so natural. There's lots of attitude and tongue-in-cheekness in the performance. But what I really, really loved to see was that the local audience really embraced them, because there was some criticism about the song. People think that it won't do well. I love it personally, but lots of people criticized it. So it was really nice to see them be received in the way that they were. Vocally, once again, this was incredibly well done, well sung, and there were lots of improvisation. I think improvisations. It almost feels like they are bored of singing the song the way it is in the studio version, because they know they can nail it 100%. So they added some vocal runs, and that is a great sign of confidence. And I can't wait to see this on the Eurovision stage. Then another very fun entry, Kai Bada Bada Bastu. Obviously, they didn't have the Melody Festival and staging, but still, this was fun 100% throughout the entire song. They have their choreography, and especially Jakob, now I'm remembering his name, seemed to have so much fun. His facial expressions, his interactions with the other guys and with the audience were so fun to see. Great vocals. Again, they performed this very well, full of energy. No, nothing to criticize here. I wished he would have brought the accordion though. That was missing a little bit, but otherwise great performance for Sweden. And then Malta, Miriana Conte with serving. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the last part of the performance. She had a outfit that was inspired completely by the Union Jack, completely out there and crazy, but really fun as well. In Amsterdam, she had a Dutch waffle on at the beginning of the performance. I didn't quite recognize that when I did the video. Sorry about that, but thanks for correcting me. And I kind of can't wait to see what she'll be wearing in Madrid, because I'm guessing she will perform in Madrid. So maybe some very interesting flamenco outfit or something. I don't know. But great vocals, great energy. Like every single time she performs this song, she's really behind the song. But what really made me like the song a bit more than I have initially is that she got Marco Bozniak, Gojo, Sissel, and JJ from Austria to perform the last part of the song with her with these aerobic balls, gymnastics balls, and they were on stage with her performing that part, and that was just so fun. And it just shows how fun of a person she is, and that she can share the spotlight as well is a great sign. So yeah, this has grown on me quite a lot thanks to that. And last but not least, Carl Alessandro Leider. Not all that much to say, because it is perfect vocally, great performer, great energy. He's so young and still performs this really, really well, especially the very high note, which must be hard to do. And so great performance by him as well. So overall, I was really impressed by a lot of the performances, most of the performances actually. So this year's Eurovision promises to be quite good. Some of the songs might not be as good as in previous years, but I think the performers can really sell their songs really well. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't yet, if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. And if you do so, I might see you in my next one. See you then, and bye-bye.